picked up the ball, turned around, and Our Friends Electric came on, and I stopped, just dead in my tracks. I turned around, I had to know what this was on. It was just incredible. Never heard anything like it before. And that was the moment, really. Our Friends Electric, Top of the Pops.
Because I agree. I was the same as you, Top of the Pops. And it was a funny thing, really, because I was into sort of some of the early electronic music, Jean-Michel Jarre and a bit of Kraftwerk and other stuff, and a big Bowie fan. And I found Numan when he first appeared. I just thought, well, this is perfect. You know, he's a Bowie electronic guy. But I only ever saw that Bowie thing on that one first time I saw him. I never saw it again after that.
Right.
But so obviously you followed Gary a long way.
Yeah.
Throughout the years. I don't know if you're a bit like me where you prefer the older stuff, or are you happy with everything?
Actually, I prefer the older stuff. Probably Replicas, Pleasure Principle, Telecon, my favourites of that period. But I do like his new stuff. I think he's found his groove with the new stuff that he's coming out with. I think the last few albums, I think he's in a safe place, and he knows exactly what to put out musically now. I think he's done well lately. I know he's got a middle period, which a lot of people don't want to talk about. But at the time, I loved it at the time. I can't knock it because I loved it at the time. So
there was always a track or two you could pick off any one album, like Machine and Soul and things. Which I know Gary always says about this, but there's tracks like I Wonder and things like that, which are pure Numan, you know. I'm not too sure about Machine and Soul, the song, but but hey ho, maybe that could just be me. But but then somewhere along the line a few years ago, you decided to start writing books. On Gary's songs, image, lyrics, everything. I mean, I've just been. I haven't had time to read this yet.
No, obviously.
But many thanks, Joe. I really.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But I just flicked on one page, and I think on one page we've got, as I can see, 4 or 5 references to Numan songs, lyrics, people, and it works, doesn't
it? It does work, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does. Mr. Wall, the Sleep Room, you know, everything. So the first book, The Replicant, what was going on with yourself putting that together?
It came about. I made a chess set for my daughter. It was a Plants vs. Zombies chess set. And I'd done the chessboard, and I made the chessboard, and I did a piece in the oven for a clay piece. And we were halfway through reading Josh Malerman, Bird Box, sci-fi, which she loves sci-fi. So we went down to the park, and we sat on a bench, and we carried on reading Bird Box by Josh Malerman. And she just turned to me and said, "Wouldn't it be cool if there was a Gary Numan chessboard?" And I said, "Wow, yeah, I'd love that." She said, "Could you see that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Splinter, the king on his throne. I'd have So we were talking about the chess set. I said I could see the Berserker with blue hair as a chess piece, and Telecon in the black boiler suit with the red belts. I thought it would be amazing chess set. I said I'd probably have the pyramids as pawns, coloured pyramids. So it'd be fantastic. So she just turned and said, "Well, what about the bad side of the chessboard?" And I said, "Well, no, that would be easy. That's replicas." I said, "You've got Magman, you've got Magman, you've got 5 UDs, Grey Men, killing machines. There's there's your baddies essentially on the bad side. I said I'd probably have crazies as pawns.
Yeah.
So that was where it's the idea was starting with the characters and how many of Gary Numan's characters along the way were there. And then the next thing she did was, well, the next thing she said just changed everything. She said, I have to do a project for school, a short science fiction story.
Mm.
She said, you have a good imagination. Would you help me with it? And I said, yeah, we could base it on this replicas idea with, and I did the short story. And after finishing that, I thought, hang on a minute, has nobody actually done this and actually put out a book?
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. That was the whole idea. And I then wrote the book and then asked Gary for permission to publish it, because he was surprised. After a month of him giving me permission, I put the book in his hands. So it was one of those, that's impossible. Yeah.
And how did he take that?
He loved it. He said the quality of the actual book was amazing. He said, you'll have to give me the number. He said, because the quality of this book is amazing. I knew at the time he was wanting to publish a book himself. So yeah, it was good. He took it really well. But I did bribe him though. When I asked for permission, I think one of my daughters gave him a picture that she painted, and then my other daughter gave him loads of Marmite. So I did sort of bribe him into say, oh, by the way, I want to publish a book. He was a bit not unsure of what to do about the lyrics side of it, because a lot of the lyrics aren't owned by him anymore. But he said, just do it, just go with it. It's no.
I don't know how you would. The odd word here and there could be anything.
Yeah.
I suppose if you'd copied the whole song into it, then
yeah
here and there is because he is I remember when I was doing my book and met him a few times. He's very humble about everything, isn't he?
He is very humble. Yeah, he's very welcoming, very humble.
So the first book, I can imagine, went well.
Well, the first book, the pre-orders for that was 8.
Really?
8 pre-orders, yeah. So I had to look at a way of getting that book out to people, which is why the first chapter was free on YouTube. It was a big promotional, but once word got round and people read it, My Assassin now pre-orders are in the hundreds now. But as you're probably aware, you have to sell the hundreds to actually, to break even. Yeah.
I mean, mine was slightly different because I'd done a self-publish. So
I'm self-published.
No, right, because I paid for everything.
Yeah, you pay up front. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, the printing, and then I quite enjoyed it. Well, I say enjoyed it. You have that worry, but it was nice to pick your own paper, book size, everything. Maybe I should have done a bigger book because it seems A5 is not deemed upon very well in the book world because there's no shelves to fit up. But it was great. So then, obviously, you enjoyed that, which made you go on to follow on the book.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I was going to just leave it as the Replicant, and I think Mark, who from Savage Romance, said you should do a second one, and he talked me into doing the second one. So and then I went on to the third and the fourth. But this is where it gets to a point where enough's enough. I can't keep going with this, taking Gary's lyrics and everything. And I have to call it a day at some point. And with the TV stroke movie series, the possibility, then.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there is well, I don't know. Gary's written enough songs for you to carry on for another few more years, but yeah. I mean, your third book was a load of short stories.
Yeah.
Or horror stories. Let's not get carried away. But yeah. I mean, and my assassin, I haven't had time to read it, obviously, because I only got it yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I'm not 100% sure what it's about.
Okay.
Is it a follow on from the first two?
It could be. It could be.
Right, fair enough.
Uh, it actually it takes the short stories from Twisted
Right.
that you've possibly read. I don't know, and it actually that those short stories are actually more incorporated into the final book, My Assassin, as well.
So taking the no one really knows. There could be a TV, could be a film,
yeah,
one or the other, or maybe both. Who knows? And let's hope so. But
yeah.
where do you feel you might go next? Then would you write another book?
I would probably write another book, but it would be a lot further down the line. I think
Yeah.
really it's to see what happens with. I mean, Chris and Hillary are taking this a lot further now, so hopefully we get something out of it and get a decent deal. And
Well, I know Chris Payne's been working.
oh, yeah, amazing! Chris Payne he's been flat out on this soundtrack. I know he has. So, and
I know.
I've heard some of it, and I'm blown away by what he's done. It's just it is incredible.
I know. I spoke to him months ago, and he said, "I've got all this Joe McCann stuff to do." He said, "Oh, it's brilliant,
yeah,
but I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing." You know,
no.
it's So yeah, well, let's. Wouldn't that be something?
It would, yeah, it would. It will. It will is what really I should be saying, because Chris is pretty sure, like 100% sure, this is a dead cert in a way, because we have a sci-fi that's based on a Blade Runner type feel,
Yep.
but probably a lot darker than Blade Runner. It's got the horror element. It's got the music element of Gary Numan, and Gary Numan has a reach of 1 million people in this respect. So when you take that all on board as well, yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
To me, it is.
I think to everyone, and I think it's not just a book for Newman fans,
no.
whatever you want to call them. It's a book for everyone. But I must just say, I mean, I flicking through this one and having read most parts of all the other ones, the references are brilliant.
Oh yeah,
absolutely brilliant. And I was flicking through this a little bit earlier, and then suddenly you find yourself singing all the songs.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they read the Replicant, they can't get through the first chapter because they just keep singing songs all the way through. So they have to start again and read it again, and it's probably hard for a Gary Numan fan to read it. Whereas somebody else who's not a Gary Numan fan just reads it as a book.
Yeah.
And those lyrics don't stand off the page as anything in particular. But
yeah, what you need. Oh, well, you can't so much now because he's with his American lot so much. But I'm sure at one point he would have put that on sale on his website. But
on what?
I said I'm sure before he got took over by American company so much, he would have probably put it on his website himself.
Oh yeah.
But as I found out, that changed very quickly. So
yeah, no.
But that's not a problem.
It's fine.
It's not a problem. But Joe, I wish you all the best in the future.
Yeah.
And I really, really 100% hope that something becomes of this.
Yeah.
Because it definitely deserves it.
It does.
And keep your fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah. I'll keep in touch and let you know as soon as I know what's happening.
I'm waiting for it to come up on Netflix or Sky or Prime or something, which I'd be doing something. But does Gary know anything about this?
Yes, he does. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the promotional video that I did.
Yeah.
That promotional video brought me to the attention of Leanne Langford in the US, and tragically she died in 2020.
Yes.
but the next day I had an email from Gary, so he's aware of everything, and yeah, he wants to be part of it.
Yeah.
But obviously, what part he plays in this, I don't know as yet. I don't know as
Wouldn't
yet.
it be
So
something, eh?
yeah, it would. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I think when it happens, Gary should definitely be in it.
yeah. I'd actually like to see his daughters or Gemma
Yeah.
involved in the filming. To be honest, I think because it's a Gary Newman inspired book, I don't see any reason why his daughters wouldn't want to involve in the acting part of it.
Why not?
So
Have the
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Have
that
the
would be
lot.
good.
Be really good.
Yeah,
Joe, I'm going to leave it to you.
yeah,
It's been fantastic to talk. We could go into a lot more depth about the books, but
yeah.
obviously, people still haven't read them.
Why?
Exactly. But those who haven't should.
Yeah,
Straight away.
yeah.
But they are brilliant, and I really appreciate your time. It's been fantastic, and all the best for the future and everything, mate.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Fine.
Thank you.
How was that, Joe? Do you want to do a bit more, or are you okay with that?
No, you can do a bit more. Carry on if you want.
Uh,
If it helps.
what do you want to talk about?
Whatever you like.
Right, hold on. I like a glass of wine on.
So have you got Twisted? Have you read Twisted?
Mm.
Have you read it?
Not all of it.
Not all of it. Okay. Did you find a little note in the middle of it?
Oh no.
No. No. All right. Because don't read is a story that's directed to the reader.
Right.
And I thought it'd be rather unnerving. It's basically me being a psycho talking to you,
Yeah.
and telling you that I'm watching you, I'm following you, I'm outside your door. It's that sort of creepy sort of feel.
I noticed that at the beginning of this one. I've been watching you.
Yeah, that's a reference. That's a reference to that, actually. Yeah.
I might have done actually.
So inside the book, where Twisted, is a small slip of paper, and it's basically saying you've been warned.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and you probably thought, what the hell's that? But
No, I got the gist of it. That maybe I've been warned. But what was your first Numan gig?
Wembley, 81.
Really?
Yeah, I was 15.
Yeah.
And my mum let me go down on the train. Well, my mum and dad worked on the trains, so my train, anywhere I want to go on the train was free. I used to just jump on the guard train and just go down to London. So I got there free of charge. But yeah, Wembley 81 was an amazing gig. It's the first Gary Newman concert. Amazing.
It is something. Funny enough, I was watching some stuff on YouTube, but transferring it to my big telly.
Yeah.
And I was watching the Joy Circuit with Nash.
Oh yeah, Nash, yeah.
In full 64-inch sort of
technicolor.
Yeah, it was something.
I was looking for what happened to the Nash the Slash documentary.
It's still happening. It's just that everyone involved, it works.
Right. Okay.
So, and
I noticed there was a funding thing going on with it.
I know, and they got the money. So I did inquire not so long ago. Still saying that could have been last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I believe they're still trying to put it all together. I really don't know what the delays would be, other than they've all got jobs.
Yeah.
It's more of a hobby. But I'm saying that it's been must have been going for 3 or 4 years now, if not longer.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because I know I got contacted about they wanted to interview me, but they wanted me to interview Chris Payne at the same time. So we would be sitting there together just chatting.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, the day they flew over to London to do it, I was in Paris, and so was Chris Payne. So we couldn't do it.
All right.
So, but I chased it up actually because I'd like to see it myself.
Yeah, yeah. I looked it up the other day. I thought, I wonder how they're getting on with that. So
Yeah, it'd be good. So, what would your last Numan gig would have been? The recent tour, the last tour, or did you go to any of the
no,
acoustic sets?
the last one I was trying to make Newcastle the acoustic one, but when Newcastle was on, I was in Ashford in Kent, so I was the other end of the country, and then as he's going south, I'm north. I work,
Yeah.
so I work around the country, and it just if I'm around, I'll go to a gig. If I'm not, it's one of those things now for me.
I must admit, when I looked at when he said about the acoustic, I thought, oh God, no,
Yeah.
there's nothing right about this whatsoever.
What,
But
the acoustic?
yeah, but
Oh
what?
no, I like the idea. I was the same with the orchestral one. I wasn't sure of that, and I didn't have a ticket for it. And somebody ended up asking me what I was just dropping off leaflets, and he said he's got 2 tickets. If you know anyone who, I thought, well, I could really do with the ticket. I've got to see the show. So I went in, and the hair stood up on the back of my neck. That was a fantastic.
Well, this
So,
is what I was going to
so
say. I
really,
mean,
without
the,
actually being at the acoustic show to see what it was like, I can't speculate
no,
on
but I
that.
mean, when he said about it, I thought, oh no, 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 no. Everything
Yeah,
sounds wrong about this. You know,
yeah,
you know. Uh, but when I've seen a few clips on YouTube and things like that,
yeah,
and I'm going to have to backtrack, and I was wrong.
yeah,
Looks
yeah,
really good. And
yeah. It does look good. Yeah,
if he was to do it again, I'd happily put my money down
yeah,
and get
yeah,
along.
yeah,
You know, yeah, yeah, it looked really good.
yeah.
And
What
I
was your first?
suppose
What was your first gig then? Was that touring principal?
Ipswich '79, the tour
Garment.
principal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Garment.
October
Garment.
something, I forget now, 9th or something like that. It could have been the 20th. No, it could have been September. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it was definitely October, but I can't remember the exact date. And you know when you have moments where you remember things
Yeah.
because it was so long ago that watching videos and things like that helps, but you can't really remember a lot. I mean,
No. It's that long ago now. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I remember being at an Ultravox gig at the same place in, I don't know, 81, something like that. And I
Yeah.
just seem to remember them. They started with the thin wall and it was loud.
Yeah. Loud. Yeah. Yeah.
It's sort of. So yeah. I mean, I went to the last gig, whatever which one that was. I don't know. But yeah, not the acoustic one, but the one the year before. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was good fun.
That's good.
I don't know what he's doing another album now.
Sorry.
He's doing another album? Is he following
Yeah,
on
he's doing
from?
it. Yeah, he should be starting it now, but it's one of those. He'll get round to it when he gets round to it. And so,
Well, I think as I've said to people before, um, whether you like the middle years or whatever,
yeah.
whether you're a fan of the past or the newer, we've had a good run for our money.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've
You know?
had decades of great music,
Yeah.
great gigs. Great lyrics, which I've robbed. But yeah,
But in a
yeah,
brilliant way.
yeah,
Brilliant way.
yeah. But I would like to. I mean, for me, what I've done, I'm trying to give something back. And this is what Leanne said to me. She said, "What do you want out of this?" And I said, "Well, it's not money." And she said, "What do you mean it's not money?" I said, "It's not. I just want to give something back. I've had decades of a really good time with Gary Numan and everything that he brought with it. I want to give something back." And she said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, look at ABBA." I said, "When you look at Gary Numan, right, look at ABBA. ABBA started their career in the 70s, and then you would think they'd made a lot of money from the 70s up over, but the most money they ever made was out of Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
It was as soon as they got Mamma, that's the most money ABBA ever made. I would love to do that for Gary Numan. I would love to bring out a TV series or film that that has a fantastic story that is Gary Newman related, and that, you know, we can all be happy with. So,
well, and it's so true. It's so true. I know exactly what I know when I was doing my book many moons ago, because we didn't have the internet.
yeah,
Well, we did, but not to the degree we have now.
yeah.
Of course, we had the internet, but there wasn't as much information, and I was, because I had my website and everything, constantly trying to find stuff on the Tor and Principle, Teletor, and stuff before that.
Yeah,
That it got to a point where I thought I need to talk to people.
yeah,
So when I
yeah.
was then talking,
You collated a lot of stuff on the tours. I mean,
but
if you go at the back of your book here, you just filled with all that information. It's incredible.
well, it's quite good, quite easy. It was easy for me because I didn't actually write a book. I
Yeah,
just it's a book of interviews. So
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was so easy because these were questions as a fan I wanted to ask myself.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think I actually ever wrote anything down
No.
because it was
Well,
all
in a way, when I'm doing these books, the process of me writing these books is is taking things I like. So I hear things in the street or newspaper clippings, and I've got a book full of lines that I like, creepy lines, whatever, anything that comes along, I write it down. So I've got a book full of all this. So the process of writing the books, we'll basically have the story exactly where I want it, and then take all these creepy lines and put them in each chapter where they fit best. Then take Gary's lyrics and then put them whichever chapter suits best.
yeah.
And then take descriptive. My descriptive side to this is minimal. I'd say it's the clouds are a mass of swirling grey. Minimal.
Yeah.
And then move on with the story, because I felt like the story was more important with Replicant and all the follow-up stories. I read a lot of Stephen King, and I can read 2 pages of he's a fantastic writer.
Oh yeah.
And he can describe things for 2 pages, but then I've lost where I am with the story sometimes.
Yeah.
So I didn't want too much description. I wanted more of a story. So,
But when you were writing, were you excited in your writing about the story, knowing the Numan references?
yeah.
Say, did it excite you where you were then thinking, right, oh, I'd put the Dream Police in here or something like that, or you know what I mean?
Well, it's like I'd say like My Assassin's got the Iceman in.
Yeah.
And that character was wow, the Iceman, and how I envisaged the Iceman in my book is a character where his veins are on the outside of his body. And it just the whole concept of taking Gary Newman's imagery and his characters and making them something even more.
Because when he done the Iceman on Berserker, he had this sort of white with blue,
which is exactly where I got the idea for his veins being outside his body. Because I think people, when they see the Iceman or in the book, their visual perception of him will be of that suit where he had the tubes. So
I would never put the two together, though.
No, understandable. But it takes the Gary Newman fan to pick up on that, and I think.
Yeah, I mean, if I was reading it, I probably would, because that image would then come to me.
So in a way, if this does become a TV series or film, you've got Gary Newman fans that are going to have this secret knowledge of what's hidden in all this as well. So we're sort of we're in the know.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
I was very, very excited about writing. A lot of this Splinter character in the book was fantastic, and the Unforgiven is another character in My Assassin, and he is you would dread meeting this character. He is that bad.
You can swear.
You would dread meeting him. So and
yeah,
Well,
When I get to that part, I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
still alive.
Yeah, if you're still there. Yeah.
Joe, just let me check on something quickly. Right, I tell you what, Joe, I'll edit that in,
Yeah,
and then we'll do the ending. That's just because when I look on my YouTube stats,
yeah,
I can do an hour.
yeah.
Most people only watch 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
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 know,
just edit me. As long as I've got 5 minutes, that's
no, no, no. Do you know what I mean? Though
yeah.
I was quite surprised
Yeah.
because we've done 35 minutes, I think.
Oh, I could keep going all night. You should
I
just
know, so
do.
could I, but
This
people
should
don't
be
want to
part
watch it.
three.
Huh?
Part three.
Well, this always makes me laugh really because when I interviewed Tim Summerhays,
Yeah.
he rang me up the day before and he said, "Oh, Steve, look, a bit concerned." He said, I think I probably can only do about 15 minutes. That's probably
Oh,
all I remember." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, Tim, whatever, take it as it comes." You're sort of an
yeah.
hour in.
An hour. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, well, what's up?
Yeah.
I
But
suppose if it was a podcast, people have it on. I don't know. Some people say they have it on without watching it.
yeah, well, I have great admire I admire what you do. Um, I love your videos. I love watching your videos. I think they're fantastic. I do. I really do. I enjoy them.
Well,
Um,
majority of them are easy because I'm a fan of the stuff.
yeah.
So I think getting hold of Roger Mason was great,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
him coming back. Um, Richard Jobson was scary because he's a scary man.
I didn't
Uh,
watch that one actually.
oh,
Richard
it's
Dunn.
from the Skids.
Yeah.
But people like Mike Smith are just so much fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They just and Chris is always fun. Russell Bell,
Yeah.
he was
David
coming
Brooks
along.
as well, isn't it?
Hmm?
David Brooks as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
up for all the time. So
Yeah, David actually he messaged me and he said, "I've just seen your cover for My Assassin.
mm,
Would it be all right if I show Gary?"
yeah,
I
yeah.
said, yeah, yeah, by all means. And I said, but if he doesn't like it, anywhere but the face, I'm too pretty.
Because David Brooks got me into the Norwich gig, and I met him afterwards, and I had some stuff I wanted signing for the Cedric stuff,
Yeah.
and I think we couldn't have been far out of COVID because Gary weren't coming out or doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Can you just ask Gary if he'll sign this?" And he said, "Well, I can ask him." I said, "Well, yeah, just ask him. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world." But he did. So yeah, that was good of him. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're all Cedric was brilliant, wasn't he? But hey, one of them. But but I did. Russell was meant to be doing something, but he kept putting it off. So I emailed him and I said, "Look, Russ, let's just not bother. You know,
Yeah.
I can't keep emailing you every other month,
Yeah.
and you're coming back with, oh, I just got back in the country. I just got to sort something."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, "Let's just not bother, mate." And he sort of come back, well, yeah, I understand, but I haven't got anything to say at the moment. He said, but then again, maybe I never really wanted to do it. So I thought, well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, that's fine. It's a shame
Yeah.
because he did sort of say to me, well, I don't want to keep going over the same old stories and that, but not everyone's heard them same old.
No, no, I agree. I think you're the go-to person for these type of interviews as well. If you want to know more about Chris Payne, you pick up on one of your videos, you'll find out everything you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, Bill Sharp was, I
Oh
think,
yeah, Bill Sharp, yeah.
very early
Yeah.
on days,
Yeah.
them sort of things. But he was
You must
quite.
enjoy it then.
You are?
You must enjoy doing these interviews.
I do and I don't. Sometimes I get really nervous.
Well, all right.
Like with Bill Sharp, I was like, oh fuck, it's Bill Sharp, it's Bill Sharp. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
And I, and the difference is when I don't really know a lot about the person,
Oh, yeah.
so I might have to look it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I find that quite, because I can't. I've got to look at my pad or something while I'm talking to
No, that's right. Yeah.
them.
Yeah, because you don't know how I mean, what these people when they left school or whatever. When I left school, you think as an author you're going to have a good education. I think I came out with an O-level geography, which has been really helpful.
Yeah.
Um, and I believe I actually got a bronze swimming certificate as well. So I think
But
that's my school education right
well,
there.
you've done better than me because I came out with nothing. Uh,
Although I may have I may have not picked the brick up. I'm not sure.
I my first job after leaving school, I worked on a coal round. My
All
my
right, yeah,
my
yeah,
mate rang me up. He said my dad wants someone to work on the coal round.
yeah.
I used to bike to their yard, be there at 6, bagging up coal,
All
20
right, yeah,
tons of coal off the floor into sacks,
yeah.
and I was on the grand total of 50p an hour.
Good enough for you.
I
You're not
know.
on much more now, are you?
No, no, it doesn't seem like it. But no, I mean, it's funny really, because especially like with my kids. I mean, I say kids, they're all grown up, and they always say, "It was all right for you." Well, how the hell did you work that
Yeah,
out?
it's all right for you, yeah.
Houses were cheaper. Always on 50p a fucking hour.
Yeah, just
Maybe
sounds
I do that.
ridiculous now, doesn't it? 50p an hour.
I tell you, the best interviews I loved and I've watched more than anything is Joe Hubbard.
Oh yeah, Joe Hubbard, yeah,
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 I
yeah,
thoroughly enjoyed talking to him.
yeah.
Um, and he was, I did like the way he said, Paul Gardenia. I think Paul would have liked that.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother to stop and say it was Paul Gardner, but
Paul Gardenia has a ring about it.
but I enjoyed that one. Uh, Rob Dean,
Rob Dean, yeah.
he's a
That was an
really,
audio one, that one, wasn't it?
yeah, I did do it like this, but he wanted
Yeah,
me just to do the audio.
yeah,
Uh, really, really, really nice guy, and I
yeah,
still talk to him now.
yeah.
But
I think that was a
I,
two-part interview, that one, I think.
yeah, but I don't really know enough about Japan,
Yeah.
and I, I don't want to look it up. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Because to me, that's not what I want to do. I want to enjoy what I'm doing.
yeah.
This is why I was saying something on the page the other day about closing it or something, because I just thought, I can't keep talking to the same people.
No,
I can't. If people don't want to talk to me, where do we go?
yeah.
Yes, I think I could. Ho ho. No, I done ho ho cam. Who was the other guy they had? There was another guy who said he'd do an interview. Then another guy, but I thought, well, you just worked at the studio.
Yeah,
No one would know who you are
yeah, yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
So
And
it
then
just
you're scraping the barrel with me.
no, 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 not at all. But you know what I mean. You don't want
Yeah,
to be talking to the guy who swept the floors
yeah.
at Rock City or something. Do you? You know,
I'll work for 50p an hour.
good man. I'll tell you what, those were the days.
Yeah, yeah, they were.
Lucky enough for me, because I was on the coal round starting at 6 and finishing about 8 at night,
Yeah.
I got time and a half. So I get to be on 75.
75p. Yeah. 75p an hour.
I took home £45 one week, I tell you.
Oh, there you go. Just think how many Mars bars you could have bought.
Yeah, but a pint was only like 25p, so the
Yeah,
days weren't
that's
there.
right. Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, some of the older concert tickets, I'm seeing like Berserker tour, £3.50
I
or
know.
£5. It's like, my God.
I know. I often see them come up on some
Yeah.
feeds.
It's just unbelievable. The
Simple
price of
Wine,
tickets.
50p. You
I mean,
know?
Wembley Arena was cheap as well at the time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I know Gary sort of puts on a lot about he lost money because he wanted his fans to have this show and all that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's quite the truth. I think, well, I know for a fact he was getting ripped off left, right, and centre. But
yeah,
Tony was his manager, and the only people he trusted were the biggest crooks out of the bloody lot. So
yeah,
they were getting shafted left, right, and centre. But it's why I personally think he should never had Tony as a manager. But
yeah,
I did understand, or do understand why he wanted his dad as a manager.
yeah, yeah.
But Tony couldn't control him either, could he?
No, I messaged Tony a few years ago. I used to run a memorabilia shop,
Yeah,
and it was like film props, but mainly autographs. And I spent a while down at L3 Studios, and from there, I was put in touch with Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader.
yeah,
Um, I met Doug Bradley, went out for a meal with Doug Bradley, went out for a meal with Carolyn Monroe.
yeah.
Warwick Davis went out for a meal with him. They all did signings at the shop. Um, so it was a big thing. And I wanted to draw Gary into it because there was the shop was queues out the door,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for signatures. So I messaged Tony and I said, would Gary be interested in doing a signing in a memorabilia shop? And Tony said, he's a bit busy and it's not really Gary's thing. And I understand that. I thought it was a long shot to ask him, but it
Yeah,
was good. It's good.
I just think if you'd had, you see, when I get the fact he was being hounded by the press
Yeah.
and he'd had enough of touring at that moment in time, but when they finished the tour in principle,
Yeah.
no one told him to do the telly tour. He decided
No.
to do the telly
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
And they'd only been back like a week, and he was saying right, well, I want to do this other tour now. And they're saying, well, no, because you haven't really sold, beggars were saying about this as well. You could have gone to see Gary in America on the tour in principle and the telly tour in the same year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ticket sales weren't going that great because he was meant to then go to Europe, but
Yeah.
they cancelled all that,
Right.
because it wasn't going that great.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of things, I could go and see someone at the beginning of the year. I might not want to go and see him at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would or I wouldn't, depends.
No, no, I get that.
But yeah, so I was quite fascinated looking back, reading over and hearing Gary sort of saying, well, I'd had enough of touring. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
the fact the press were after him, but he weren't the only one. Depeche Mode got a hammering, and so did a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But terrible shit. You shouldn't have to go for all that. But
No. So what's your favorite album then?
Probably The Pleasure Principle.
Pleasure Principle. But you know, I remember the Pleasure Principle for one reason. At school, our music teacher was fantastic, and he said, "You can bring in one album tomorrow, and I'll play one track of everyone's album." So all the kids went in; they all played one track of every album, and I took Pleasure Principle in, and my music teacher put it on, and we got 3 songs off that album. And somebody said, hang on a minute, why's he get 3 songs off the Pleasure Principle and we only got 1? And my music teachers just said, because it's unique and it's different. And that was, you're right. And I have no doubt whatsoever that music teacher went out and bought Pleasure Principle that night because he was blown away by it. And that's a music teacher.
Well, Replicas is definitely the album what blew me away.
Yeah.
Because got Our Friends Electric, bought Replicas.
Yeah.
You start with Me, I Disconnect From You, Our Friends Electric, blah, 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 metal, whatever.
Yeah.
Down in the Park. I mean, when you first heard that, I mean, it was like,
oh, yeah.
Nearly Married a Human. I mean, that was just like, wow.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. But there was probably something like, it must have been Years or the Mac Men, because it was
Yeah.
very guitar-y, it didn't quite fit in with what I looking back,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wrong. It's brilliant,
Yeah. Yeah.
fantastic. But at that moment in time, it weren't synthy enough. You know, there's
Yeah.
guitars. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I
Yeah.
don't want to hear them. And then, of course, the pleasure principle is just pure
Yeah.
zips.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, for me, Replicas is my top album. I think Telecon came close,
mm,
second. But my most played album is probably Dance.
yeah,
Weirdly,
yeah,
my
yeah.
most played album is Dance.
Well,
So
there's nice contrast on
yeah,
dance. The first side is really slow-ish,
yeah,
you know, and then the second side, you know, is a little bit more. I mean, oh God, Boys Like Me, I love it. It's
yeah,
one of the best tracks ever.
yeah.
Um,
Crash for me. I
yeah,
like Crash.
and you know, I sometimes feel if I listen to In Bed with Quiet O'Clock said and all that, it sort of makes me sad in a way, not because of Nash, just
Yeah,
because of the sounds, and it takes me back
yeah, yeah.
to 81 when I
Takes you
first
back to
heard it.
81. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know, you get them so, ooh, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And when I hear all that, that's just, oh, you know, I remember listening to this at the time, and
I think what I like about Gary is the despair in his voice. There's a
mm,
despair there, and I think that's what I like, the despair. And his modern stuff has got that as well. So
I first time I heard it, I thought, right, I'm not too sure about this. You know, he's made his money, got his fame, so now he's just doing something different. You know,
yeah,
as a kid.
yeah,
Um, but it is one of them albums which is brilliant, absolutely
yeah,
brilliant. And I'm sort of pleased as I've got older. I'm not Newmanized anymore. You know, where I've
yeah, yeah,
got to be
yeah,
Newman.
yeah.
So I can actually look back or play back on some of these albums, and I enjoy them so much more.
Right.
Something like Pleasure Principle, Replicas, Telecon, Dance. The production wise is fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't date either, does
No,
it? It doesn't
no,
date at all.
it's something I always say about cars. Every time you hear it, it could have been recorded yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
the production and the producing is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and fair enough. I'm sure millions of albums were, but you know what
I
I mean.
mean, for me, Complex was one of my favorite songs for years.
Yeah,
And when first met Chris Payne, I had to compliment him on the part that he played in Complex.
yeah,
It's just stunning, you know. So I actually, the first time I met Chris, I gave him a copy of the Replicant, which he gave me his CD in
yeah.
return. It
It's
was
great,
just
isn't it?
purely for what you've done for Complex. So
But it's weird actually. I rang Cedric up one day, just randomly,
yeah,
Saturday afternoon maybe, and I said, Cedric, I just want to say thank you.
yeah,
And he, what for? What for? I said, because you were part of Newman. It
yeah,
was Gary Newman was you, Paul, Chris,
yeah, yeah,
and no, you know, no. I said you were, and I said I'm just ringing to say thank you.
yeah.
I said, bizarrely as it sounds, I've just suddenly thought of this, so I want to thank you. And
Yeah.
yeah,
This is what I was saying. I want to give something back, and in a way,
mm,
you're doing that with Cedric. There, you're trying to say I appreciate what you did, which
yeah, a really nice guy. There you go. But it comes to us all, done it
yeah,
in the end.
don't get any younger.
No. Well, as Chris Payne said to me, well, we all know it. He said, "I said only one certainty from the day you're born,
Yeah,
you're on a clock."
yeah, you are. Yeah,
I thought, yeah, well, we know that anyway, don't we? But we don't want to think about that too much, Chris. Let's talk about something happy.
yeah.
But you had a lot of video chats with Chris.
I've had a few with Chris. Yeah,
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah, he is great. Yeah.
A really nice guy. Really.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to have to go because
Okay.
I've got to talk to some drummer.
Okay.
I say some drummer. He must be some famous drummer because he's paid by drum companies to
Oh, yeah. Right.
and
Okay.
he wants to do something for Cedric.
Right.
He emailed me sort of saying, well, my sponsors are sponsor me to come along to some, if we can sort something out,
Right.
maybe some other people who can get their sponsors. I thought, no, I don't, because they're all in tribute bands. So
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
but we'll see. He seems nice guy. So I mean, last couple of years were great, weren't they?
Yeah.
Really managed to sort of push that on really nice. And thanks for your contributions. That was great. So
You're welcome.
no, that's great. Right, Joe, we'll catch up again soon.
Yep.
I'll get this all now saved. I'll edit and move it around. Maybe I'll keep a lot of this conversation in because people reckon I don't say enough.
Yeah. Just do whatever.
It's funny, actually. My wife said to me once, "Oh, you talk too much at the end." So
Yeah, but that's probably where you get most of your material.
so I started cutting the ends
because
off.
it becomes more natural.
Well, I started cutting the ends off, and
Yeah.
I suddenly thought, because when I was talking to Roger Mason, and I cut it all off, and he was sort of saying at the end, "Oh, thanks ever so much for the chat, Steve. You took me back to a place I never thought I'd revisit."
Yeah.
Just they forget, don't they? And I thought, oh, I should have left that really, because I tend to just cut people off, just cut them off, don't I?
Yeah, you just edit away.
Yeah, we're sort of something. Joe, I really appreciate your time. I know you weren't quite up for it, but it's been good.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
And